Hey,
Hey,
hey, what's up?
can you tell us a bit about your film
So MACAAN is about these these students in an adult ESL class who, over the course of the film, like one of them, his name is Waleed. He's really into his classmate. She's just walked in for the first time, and he's just like, whoa, who is she? Head over heels, like really into her, and she wants nothing to do with him off rip. Like she hates him. He's very forward with how he feels, and he thinks he feels a lot more than he actually does. Like he's like, this is the woman for me. I love her so much, but that's just not even the case. He doesn't even know her name. His friends tease him about that, and over the course of the film, it's about him attempting to win her love, in the ways that he thinks are most suitable. Yeah.
Yeah. So this film is nearly entirely in Somali.
Yeah.
You obviously have a Somali background. What was it like writing and directing a film in a different language?
The writing process, like the first draft was in English, just because we needed a production draft for everyone to kind of like be able to understand. But the process of translating it was really tricky. And it kind of came to its conclusion during production, even like not even before production.
What do you mean?
It was first and foremost, I gave the English draft to my oldest sister Ikram, and she was able to get like a rough translation of what the story was about. All the beats were there, but then there was this actor that I had casted like very late into production. His name was Mahmoud, and he was like, "Yo, Ayub," like he tapped me on the shoulder on set. No, it was during our table read, day before we shot. He tapped me on the shoulder. He was like, "Hey, Ayub, this Somali, this is like, no one talks this way anymore. This is very old school. This is how like our grandparents spoke." And then he laughed about it. And during that process, he was just like, can I see it? And then like, he just made everything conversational, very like natural, very like the way the language is spoken. And I don't think the script would be nearly as like immersive without his like involvement. So like, shout out Mahmoud, the GOAT. I hope he's there he hasn't seen the film yet, which is kind of crazy.
At all?
Not at all. I don't want to send him the links for him to watch on like a phone. I'm just like, hey, come to a screening. But he's a very busy guy. He runs like a carpet cleaning service, and like he's just always on the move. Very busy guy. Lovely dude, was willing to do it for free. Yeah, love him. Awesome.
You should come see it.
He should come
I'll
see
give him
it.
free tickets.
Get him tickets. Yeah, he should be there.
More on that. How do you feel your background as a Somali person? How did you inject some of your own personal experiences and like your heritage into the film?
Personal experiences. I think I don't really relate to Waleed as a character at all, to be honest. He's very forward with how he feels about like his romantic interests, his love interests, and that's not how I roll at all. I'm like a slow burn. Like I don't really say how I feel a lot of the time until it's like blatantly obvious. And that's just a little like, I don't relate to him at all in that way. But in terms of like heritage and stuff, like we got a bunch of the props and like wardrobe from like Weston and Lawrence, very big Somali population in that area. We got a lot of family there. And we just went into their houses and we just rated the things that they had, whether it's like traditional brooms that were used to like sweep carpets in Somalia, or like small drums that were around houses and stuff, like carpets. There's like this traditional wear that like men will wear. It's called a ma'wis. It's kind of like a kilt, I want to even describe it as. We got some of those for like wardrobe, and really bringing that part of my like upbringing and my livelihood into this film was so like, it felt like it touched on a part of my heart that I didn't really access in a while. Like, I grew up in Mississauga. Mississauga doesn't have too many Somali people in it. But I was born on Dixon, like those Dixon buildings. If you know, you know, the Dixon buildings. And like really connecting with like that part of like my upbringing has been like very cool and very fulfilling. I really want this film to resonate with people who kind of see themselves in that way. When you talk about like Somalian people within like film, like the go-to is like Captain Phillips, and people are like, "Oh, I'm the captain." Oh, they'll always see that Doma line. I hate that line. But I want like proper representation that kind of showcase like a more contemporary like Somali experience. Yeah, and that's what I hope I accomplish with this film. Yeah.
I think you do a good job at
Thank
that.
you so much. Thank you.
This is obviously, I won't get too much into it, depending on how much you want to get into
We
it.
can get into it.
But it's a very important film, I feel.
Thank you.
Why do you think a story like this is necessary to be told in today's day and age?
Yeah. So to kind of touch on the end that I haven't really like talked about like at this moment, it ends with like Waleed, the male lead, and the female lead, who is unnamed. She's named in the script, but I'm not gonna tell you her name because that's like a secret.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
What's she credited as? in the
She's
end?
credited as MACAAN.
Okay.
Yeah. So she is finally willing to humor this guy. She's not really into him. I don't think at all, but she's willing to just like talk to him. And right as they're about to exchange names, like the adult ESL class that they reside in, it gets raided by like ICE, and the actress who plays the female lead, her name is Habina. Habina's character gets like taken away by the officers, and Waleed, he's pushed up against a locker, and we cut to like archival footage of like the Minnesota raids that are happening, courtesy of Unicorn Riot. Those guys were lovely over there. They allowed us to use the footage for like free, and I think this film is like important in like humanizing that experience, because I think a lot of the time it's easy to read articles and to see headlines on the news, like a narrative that's been spun by people that are not involved at all, and kind of draw your conclusions that way. And I think that it kind of like, it puts like a large scope issue through the lens of specific characters, and I think that's the best way to go about like humanizing an experience. And I think we see that happen with Waleed, and everything kind of like falls apart at the very end. And I think it's important to really showcase the realities that people are facing in Minnesota, in the U.S. Like, these ICE raids are not normal at all, and they're dehumanizing, and people are held up in detention centers where they're told to pee in buckets. Like, that situation's insane. And it's not something anyone should have to go through. And I think that through this film, I really want to humanize that experience. And I think that this team, we really pulled through, we made it happen together, and I think it came out really nicely.
I think you and your work could very much be categorized as activist filmmaking.
Thank you.
And I was wondering who some of your inspirations are in terms of activist filmmaking, and how you feel your work is both similar to theirs and where it differs from them.
Spike Lee, first and foremost, is like the GOAT. Like, that's my GOAT. I love Spike Lee so much. Very, like, Spike Lee, like, I think his most commercial film is, like, Do the Right Thing. Like, really big, critically acclaimed. At the end of that movie, Spike Lee's character, Moogie, he picks up a dumpster can and he throws it through the glass of the pizzeria because of everything that's happened, because Radio Raheem has just been murdered. And I think that a film like that is super important and super, like, relevant, and they didn't want to show it anywhere. I remember, like, hearing articles about, like, I guess more conservative news outlets, they're just like, this film, you should not let it be shown in your neighborhood, or else, like, there will be the riots will come to you. It was very pearl clutchy and very, like, crazy in that way. But I think that, through his character throwing a garbage bin through the glass, it almost is the be-all, end-all for a lot of people. It's like, hey, I feel like the pressure valve of everything that's been built up, the racial tension that's been built up through this film, is released through that action. But I don't want to make things that give people that easy way out. I want to make people think about the film, like, after the credits have rolled, and really, like, go outside and deal with it there. Not to, like, not in, like, a break shit type of way, but in a way of just, like, hey, like, things are happening outside, and the answer is not going to come from a movie. The movie might make you think about it, and if I've made you think about it, that's a good job on my end. But that should never be the be-all, end-all. And I think that I don't want to make things that are the metaphorical garbage bin thrown through the glass to make you feel like you've done your part. your part is yet to be done. Your part hasn't been done. Your part is outside connecting with the people in the real world. And I think that's what I want to do as a filmmaker. Still starting out, working on it,
Yeah.
getting there. But I hope to make it happen, yeah.
I think you already are making it happen.
Thank you.
What would you say to anyone who wants to make an activist film that enacts some sort of social change but doesn't really know where to start?
I think pick up the camera and do it yourself, because I think these things are rarely funded by like large donors, or like I don't think you wouldn't have an easy time applying for a grant like with a film that kind of challenges the status quo, because the people who are going to be approving that grant are the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we get like-minded people together, really talk about these things, really come together and just make it happen. I think that's the best way to do it. I think it all starts with a cool concept. If you're mad about something, channel that into a script, and show your friends and see what they have to say about it. Get together, make it happen. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Lovely.
Thank you.
And I know this was a very challenging shoot for you in
Yeah.
a lot of ways. What would you say was the most challenging part of bringing it to life?
This was very tricky. I think the most challenging part was, this was first and foremost, this was a Sheridan school assignment. And Sheridan doesn't allow any funny business for the most part. They want you to have all of your ducks in a row. Is that the expression?
Yeah.
You gotta get your ducks in order. You gotta have everybody you gotta get all your paperwork situated. And within this film, there was a key location, which was a drive-through, and finding that location was almost impossible. We could not make it happen. We almost thought about making it ourselves, just with set deck and clever camera angles, but we found that Chick-fil-A was willing to accommodate us, but when we brought our location release form to them, they were all of a sudden, first and foremost, they were really quick to say yes. They were like, hey, yeah, that's awesome. We're willing to do it. We're closed on Sundays. It fit in with our 3-day shoot schedule. But then they were just like, hey, we have to sign this form. Actually, no, we don't want to do this. And it's one day before gear pickup, and my producer and I, her name is Michaela. Michaela and I were just sitting there. We're like, hey, what? What the hell do you mean? You're not going to sign the form? This is just formality even. It doesn't even feel like a really big deal. But they weren't willing to do that. And it took us to kind of talking them through it, convincing them for them to be willing to make that happen. But that was a heart attack. We were texting people on crew. We're just yo, might not happen. And another big issue was just casting. This film is entirely or mostly in Somali, so we had to get very fluent Somali speakers. My sisters and I, we were all around Toronto just handing out flyers to Somali restaurants, trying to see if we could get people who would be willing to act. Somali people, I feel a lot of them are shy. They don't want to, they're the funniest people you'll ever talk to. Very funny people, naturally charismatic, would look lovely on camera. For the life of me, it was impossible getting them to be hey, let's get in there, let's act. But made it happen. We got a lovely crew. My dad ended up playing one of the lead characters. But yeah, it was a very lovely time all in all. Tricky, almost didn't happen a few times, but we made it happen. We always do. Yeah.
What do you think was the most rewarding part of bringing it to life?
Rewarding part was definitely just that initial screening of just seeing all these cuts kind of coming together. Originally, we didn't have that ending in mind of archival footage. We wanted to shoot our own stuff, and this was deep into post-production, so we had to get a quick turnaround of getting this archival footage. When we put in that archival footage for the first time, paired with the music and paired with the juxtaposition of the very we shot on Canon C300, shooting on that to the handheld iPhone footage, that was jarring, and that was my heart kind of sunk. And I remember watching it with the editor Lachlan in our school's editing room, and almost crying. I was getting really misty eyed. I was yo man, give me a moment. We had to really take a moment to think about what we just did. Mm-hmm. And God bless Lachlan, so he was cutting just the saddest footage ever for just hours on hours at really late hours of the night. But just seeing that initial cut together was satisfying, and knowing that hey, we did it, we have it here. Mm-hmm. That was really cool. Yeah.
And last thing, if people take away one thing from watching your film, what would you want it to be?
I think it's easy to point fingers about, like, we're all feeling the pressures of, like, the world right now, and the answer is never going to be point fingers at an outgroup and say that they're the problem, whether it's, like, trans folk, whether it's, like, black folk, whether it's, like, immigrants. If the answer is one sentence, then you're looking in the wrong places, and I think that, like, it's a very convenient answer for the powers that be that we just point fingers at each other. The answer is not like you or me, like we have to love each other, we have to come together, and it's the ultra wealthy. The ultra wealthy are out to get us. And yeah, they want to make us hate each other, and we need to persevere. We need to come together right now over me. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's.
All right. Thank you, Ayub. This is very
Thank you,
fun.
Nico. I can't wait for this film to be shown at CrowdPicks Film Festival in Oakville. Lovely time. Yeah. I'm gonna invite a lot of small people, so have the seats ready. We got big families.
I will.
Okay.
Okay.